This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 8+ years in that games media combined with we throw our hats into the ring and join that PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and 8 a.m. on iTunes and other podcast services. If you'd like to be a part of future conversations, please join us on Facebook, join us on Discord, comment below. If you're feeling generous, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/PopCulturists. Head over there, check out the tiers. There might be something there that interests you.
And if you do support us on Patreon at any tier, like the lovely folks right now, you can watch us record For the Players live. You'll get a nice link in your inbox saying, hey, at this time, I'm going to be talking some smack. Come join us. And of course, if you want to show the love for the pop culturists on your body, head to popculturists.com/shop. We can buy shirts like this, like that. And that's about it we have in the room here. But yeah, so you can buy mugs and bags and all the shit with our logos on it, all for reasonably good prices. And of course, we are on Twitch.
Not good prices, just reasonable.
Reasonably good. At twitch.tv/popculturists, where you can subscribe and follow and all those other things you can do over at the Twitches. I have just the microphone. Hang on. Hey, man.
Hey.
How are you, my friend?
Hey.
And how
Hey,
you boys
Alex.
here? How do you get that link?
I don't know.
Fuck it.
What have you done with this stream?
Well, it was supposed to be unlisted. I made it unlisted. Maybe because I made it public at the start, maybe everyone got a blast.
Oh.
I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's cool. Hey,
But
buddy.
then it's unlisted, so everyone's like, hey, oh.
Hope you're doing all right at home
Sneaky,
by
sneaky,
yourself.
sneak.
I'll be home soon.
Yeah, we're only monitoring you now. But how's things?
I'm so bored.
Bored?
I'm just bored. Just so bored. Especially yesterday. I was just sitting at home.
But yeah, that used to that routine.
Kinda
so,
going-
those that don't know, we normally record on a Saturday. Today, Sunday.
Just going between, I'll sit at the computer, sit at the couch, go outside, sit back at the computer. So bored. I need a game.
Yeah.
A new big game.
Is
Yeah,
Octopath not
Octopath
doing
is-
it for you?
No, it's good, but it's not the game I feel like I
Okay,
want.
so yeah, all right.
Because we're only about 2 weeks from the WoW expansion, which is exciting. Alex is playing Fortnite as always. Good man. And yeah, I don't know. Just until then, I'm like, there's just nothing. I've got the urge for no reason at all to play Killzone Shadowfall. Apparently, EB has it for $9 pre-owned, so I'm gonna swing past there on the way home.
Very cool.
But yeah, I'm a uni boy, working boy, game boy. You got some shit in your teeth. Broccoli? You eating broccoli this morning?
I hope not.
Not that I know of. James spat in my mouth. What about you? Yeah, good. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been all right, man. Doing the usual works.
Sorry, Jess, maybe 2.5 weeks until the WoW expansion. Close.
Yeah, so the usual things. Games, lifes, boys, as in my son
Oh.
and my wife.
Ooh.
And then kissing boys on the side.
I work with a lot of boys.
Yeah, no, life's been pretty chill as always. Nothing too crazy. I went and picked up some new games this week. I picked up The Order 1886 for a whole $9 dues. Mostly because I heard it was hot shit, and I was like,
it's
if
not,
it's garbage, it's probably worth $9.
It's more, I look at it as what it could have been, which makes it disappointing. You know, the world they built was very cool. Graphically, it was obviously very, very good. But it could have been so much more. But it seems like they were so focused on just showing off the tech than actually making a fun game to play.
Yeah.
I do hope they do a sequel one day and kind of learn from all this, and I think it'd be something special.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I'm interested. I think it's been a good couple of years. If anything was to happen, it would probably happen soon. So it's worth probably jumping in now when it's like $9. Like $9, I've wasted $9 on way worse shit.
I think the campaign you can get through in about 7 hours.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But I only played it for 2 and then went back.
And because No Man's Sky, or No Man's Sky as it's more affectionately known.
Normansky.
No Man's Sky.
Sounds like, I don't know, a
Sounds like a
side
much
quest
better-
giver from GTA 4.
This is like a much better game.
Nico Bellic and Normansky.
Yeah, so No Man's Sky released its next update. the other day, which finally brings in proper multiplayer, brings in a bunch of graphical overhauls, a bunch of UI changes. Like, it's kind of the version.
Apparently, people are finding alien eggs, like xenomorph eggs, all through the world now.
Yeah,
like real fucked up shit.
It's kind of the game it should have been. It only took 2 years, but it's kind of the game it should have been.
I mean, Hello Games deserved all the flack they got,
yes.
but they stuck with it. Hard.
Credit to them.
Yeah.
Like, they really could have just crumbled and walked away. But instead, they sat through it. They for free. All these updates are free.
Would have been hard for them.
Would have been so
to
hard.
continue working on it and knowing everything they're doing behind the scenes, but then, seeing the meme that it kind of became, especially Sean Murray. Did you see Sean Murray's tweet?
Yeah, someone's
like, No Man's Sky is like amazing. You should go check it out. And he's just like, oh no.
Yes, yeah. It was like hype is rebuilding for No Man's Sky. He's like, oh no.
Self-aware.
Yeah, and like I said, I did have. Like, although when we played it at launch, I said I came out with it average. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just meh. Like, it had that kind of zen grind to it, but it was just none of the worlds were worth exploring. None of the universe was worth exploring. But since then, they've put in the base building. They've now put in new vehicles. You can now actually have like a big fuck off freighter. We could literally be space pirates.
That's cool.
So I'm stoked on that. And then Paris, who I work with, in my new job of playing games, he's like, it's got multiplayer. One of the girls in the group's really stoked on it. Can we pick up a couple copies? So when it was like, it's like $20. I'm like, coffees, yes sir. Come back and he's like, what are you doing? Yes,
he's 48 chai lattes.
So I picked up a couple copies to play at work. So see,
I might update it and give it a go.
I thought I sold mine. Turns out you have it. Yeah. So here I'm going, like, because I knew there was gonna be some promise in this game at some point, whether it be. I honestly thought it would be longer, or it'd be like 5 years later, it'd be good again. So I'm pretty stoked on that. But yeah, while you've got it and while I've got the work copy, let's give it a red hot go.
I'll give it an update this afternoon, I think.
But yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. The overlay is like, as in the new overlay of, as in like the world seem more bright, more colorful, more varied, more detail. You know, like at launch it was very bland. Like, it's a generated world, but it's like a purple version of that world. Where now there's a bit more texture increases, a bit more tweaks to it, and I really dig it, like, aesthetically. Now I'm yet to get off the first planet because I've only just gone back and played for a little bit. It's kind of piss-farted around. There's a couple of new subtle changes, as in when you look over something, once you upgrade your visor, it will tell you what's in that mineral, in that rock. Before you just be like, crap.
It's not what I want.
Not what I wanted.
Tell you what, it was hard to find news this week.
Yeah. Because
of the No Man's Sky update and the new Fortnite challenges and stuff. Just every news site is just
No Man's Sky.
Just No Man's Sky and Fortnite.
Yeah.
And then you find like something actually interesting in there.
I did send you a couple though this week.
On what?
On Facebook. I was like, hey, here's some articles you should read.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, one about what's that thing?
I don't know. You tell me.
What's that fucking game? We Happy Few. Put that in there. There's another one I gave you in there.
You haven't messaged me on Facebook.
With Josh and was between you and Joel.
Oh.
Because I know you don't even respond to that one, so I only sent the one with Joel.
No, you didn't.
Scroll up. Keep scrolling. There's pictures of boobs. Keep scrolling, man. There's the We Happy Few. And you made a face.
You link an article, but you don't be like, let's talk about that. It's just because we link shit in this all the time.
That's also true. It is my fault.
Yeah. It's text me.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Yeah. Anyway.
The news was kind of garbage anyway.
Yeah.
Let me check what other one I got on there.
What?
As we jump in, now we'll let you know. So as you can see by the title of the video, topic of the show is all Q's and A's. Before we jump into those Q's and A's, we jump into the news. We inform the players about what PlayStation stuff has happened this week.
All right, news number 1. I want you to listen to this.
I am listening.
So, 2 players from the Overwatch League are currently in Switzerland to meet with the International Olympic Committee and the Global Association of International Sports Federation to discuss potential Olympic opportunities for esports. Jake Lyon of the Houston Outlaws and Seeyeon Kaguri Kim of the Shanghai Dragons are 2 Overwatch League players in attendance. The conference, which will wrap up which will have already wrapped up by the time we record actually, is not about creating a specific plan for integrating esports into the Olympics immediately, according to the Overwatch Wire. Instead, the 2-day summit will focus on creating a relationship between esports professionals and the International Olympic Committee. According to a tweet from the GAISF, which is the abbreviation for Global Association of International Sports Federations, President Patrick Ballman. Other attendees include Epic Games co-founder and VP Mark Rain, Blizzard Entertainment co-founder Mike Morhaime, and professional StarCraft 2 player Dario Tielo Wunsch. It's happening.
It's real.
It's happening, man. And that's not just, like, they didn't just send anyone there. Like, Mike Morhaime is a huge name in Blizzard. He's been there from the start. You know, WoW all the way. Co-founder of Blizzard, and same co-founder of Epic Games as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously two of the most prominent players from the Overwatch League as well. That's so cool. It's so cool. The Overwatch Season 1, I think, is wrapping up today, actually. And the finals are airing on, like, ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, the Disney. It's fucking happening. And even though, like, I was right into the Overwatch League at the start, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's a lot to kind of watch. It's just cool to see it actually happening. And because we've talked probably for the last year little things like maybe it should be an esport in the in Olympic Games, but to have it now, like, no, we're actually literally talking to the Olympic Committee.
There's
we are actively doing this right now. That's so cool. When's the next Olympics? When was the last one?
Last
2016?
year.
It wasn't last year, was it? It was.
Didn't we just have some sort of Olympics? We had Winter Olympics recently.
Winter Olympics and the Commonwealth Games, maybe. I don't know. I don't follow.
Well, if Commonwealth Games was it this year or last year?
I don't know.
If Commonwealth Games were this year, because they're always within the two, so it's 4 years for every Olympics. I think it's 2020, and I think it's 2020 in Japan.
2020, yeah.
Yes, it's 2020 in Japan. So that's what a perfect place to get esports in.
Yeah, because you'd immediately get, like, you'd see the fruits of the labor.
Yeah.
Because obviously Japan is very big into it. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know.
See, like, this is a section we've had 1,000 times. I'm still...
this year?
I think Commonwealth Games were this year. Which makes sense. 2018, so it's 2 years, 2020. Yeah, no, they were this year.
2020.
See, I'm still in a weird space with esports. I understand its importance. I understand how it works, but I'm still yet to find my...
Oh, the Winter Games this year. Yeah.
I'm still yet to find my pull into esports. Like, because Overwatch doesn't really entertain me. You know, Fortnite doesn't entertain me. Like, none of the games that are competitive...
At
the moment, catch my interest. Because, like, I'm not really a big competitive game. If there was competitive Harvest Moon, I'd be like, oh, shit.
Look at his harvest.
Look at the amount of dollars this guy made.
But what would it take?
On turnips. I don't know. And like, that's the problem. I don't know what the game is that will bring me in.
Overwatch is close. Like, I keep up with it.
Yeah.
But I don't watch every game. Because, one, they air at kind of weird times. And two... It is the same thing, kind of, sort of, like, over and over again, but then so is football and all that kind of stuff too.
Except, like, football does have some amazingly cool moments. Like, last night there was a fantastic moment.
You getting talk shit in the chat there,
Ryan. Destroying competitive Harvest Moon, says Paul James, and yes, he would.
I don't know. It'd be a Blizzard game.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones kind of really pushing this forward.
Yeah, and Blizzard has that power behind them to push that through and make that happen.
Blizzard.
So Activision Blizzard, like Blizzard itself could have done it. Yeah. The power of Activision, but as well.
I never quite understood why they merged with Activision.
There'd have to be a reason.
There'd have to be a reason, but you know, at the time they did that, WoW was at its peak, and they had 10 million people paying $15 a month subscription. Like, it couldn't have been financially.
Yeah, it may have been for some additional security, because they don't pump out games on an annual basis. Like,
WoW they do the games as a service.
Yeah, WoW does fluctuate with its pay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I think this is more of a connection, and then we'll come back and put it later.
I know. I think having Activision in their name,
it adds something.
more
common to the general populace.
Yeah, that's it, I guess. But to me, it's like a taint. Like, ugh, ugh.
Taint. Yeah, it does add a bit of a sour to the sweet.
Not that, like... Okay, yeah, no, Activision are pretty bad overall. Actually.
Yeah, on average, they're pretty bad.
Maybe COD Battle Royale?
Maybe.
No,
COD Battle Royale might pique my interest.
I still don't believe that Battle Royale can be a proper esport.
Nah, it's too random. Too many variables.
Yeah, too many variables. And I know, like, obviously they can get 100 people into the same match for the purpose of a competition, but yeah, it's just too many variables. I don't know. I get the entertainment of watching it, just to watch it, but as a esport with rankings and all, I don't know.
See, the variables are there up until once you get into like the final the top 20, when like you can't fluke your way into the top 20. Well, you can.
You can,
but like not like but if you're in a competitive sense, you're not going to be sitting in the corner.
No, but then it also does kind of encourage you to just hide for most of the match. Whereas if, it was competitively like how many kills you get. But again, that's random because you just might not see anyone for the first half of the game. So, yeah, it's a few kinks to work.
Yeah. I don't see it anytime soon being a successful esport. They've tried with PUBG. I imagine they've tried with Fortnite as well. Even with
Epic Games are still
even with the appeal of Fortnite, I think they would have to make an esports mode in the Battle Royale to make it a more viable game.
I used to watch, the Dota a fair bit as well, because I find that entertaining to watch.
And there is a very specific talent with Dota.
Yeah, and more League of Legends now is still bigger in terms of mainstream appeal. But yeah, anyway, I want to put it to the chat and to the comments. What game would it take to be an esport to get you like, yes, esports is my thing. I'll happily like buy a shirt for my team and all that kind of stuff. I want to know because I'm not quite sure myself. Overwatch is close. It's very close to like being the thing that I watch. But yeah, we'll see. Number 2, following discoveries earlier in the week and then subsequent uncertainty over those discoveries, Sony Santa Monica Studio has confirmed God of War's fabled final secret Easter egg has been discovered. A set of runes inside Kratos' house discovered earlier this week. Minor spoilers ahead, actually. Spoilers. A set of runes inside Kratos' house discovered earlier this week tied into what may be believed could be the final secret the game director Cory Barlog and other members of the team have been discussing. However, without official word, fans waited to find out if more had to be uncovered. A set of runes in the... Hi, James.
James.
How do you do this, kid?
Wife. Hey, buddy. Keep reading.
I need you to hear this too. A set of runes in the 4 corners of Kratos' house that, when spelled out in the right order, spell Loki.
Whoa.
The identity of Kratos' son Atreus given to him by his mother. Sony Santa Monica Studio Twitter account confirmed it as being the final secret. Final secret?
Yeah, final secret.
So it's been there, it was there from the start. In the house.
And no one noticed because
no one
noticed to look that far.
There was a whole subreddit dedicated to finding this final secret. Now, a lot of people were actually bitching about this because they thought it would be bigger and cooler.
It's still pretty cool.
But it's still pretty very
It's
cool.
a pretty huge from like opening sequence spoiler.
Yeah. But you can even see the initial fight.
You gonna back to mummy?
Uh-oh. He knows.
Mummy.
He knows.
Go to mummy. Go to mummy.
I'll take you to mummy.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting in the fact that it's... Oh, no. Did you just get knackered? I got knackered all yesterday. Bye, buddy. Ooh, like a dick now. But yeah, it's pretty huge knowing that it's like... That is a big endgame spoiler, and it was there the whole time.
But it's also the original fight with Baldur. You know how Kratos, like, they smashed some kind of pillar? The whole story was on that pillar in the hieroglyphics, like, from the end of the game. Like, it showed the sequence of it. If you're paying attention...
Damn.
Yeah. So they're very good at hiding these things around. He's not a happy boy.
He's not a happy boy.
He's so upset that he kicked me in the dick. Can you hear him? He's like, I'm so sorry, Uncle Josh. Number 3, with Fortnite continuing to dominate the gaming world and making epic billions of dollars, another publisher is now thinking about jumping into the Battle Royale market, which would be worth $20 billion in 2019, as we discussed last week. During its investor call for Q1 financial year 2019, Electronic Arts talked about the possibility of making a free-to-play Battle Royale game of its own. The topic came about when Epic Games COO and CFO Blake Jorgensen was asked if Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode might be spun off into a separate free-to-play product. Jorgensen shot down that idea, saying Battlefield Royale was no different than any other mode in Battlefield 5. Continuing, however, he implied that a separate standalone battle royale from Electronic Arts is a possibility. Quote, I would say we're interested in possibly experimenting with an essentially free-to-play standalone game that might be in a shooter or another genre, but I don't think that's how we're looking at the Battlefield stuff right now, but you'll see more to come in the coming years and months. So, of course, EA are like, they're already getting in there with Battlefield, and then they're like, maybe we should do the Fortnite model as well, where it's free and all that.
Because, what works better than blatantly copying somebody else?
Yeah. God forbid you bring your own ideas.
Yeah.
I actually heard this in another podcast I was listening to, Sacred Symbols, that putting it in Battlefield and COD kind of makes sense in the way that people that play those games regularly have to go elsewhere for a Battle Royale fix. But now they're getting that Battle Royale fix in the game, in the games they want to play, on top of all the other modes.
Well, like I said, I have no issue with Battlefield or Call of Duty jumping in there, mostly because they are the biggest shooting franchises, like the big shooting games, like FPS, like these are the staples. So I have no issue with them coming back there. I have no issues with them doing it because I would want to check them out because like that'll be Battle Royale with polish.
Yeah.
Like what are they called? What are they calling Battlefield Royale? Like I am down.
Yeah, I'm pretty down. I got the next bit of news actually on Battlefield as well, and this kind of made me go, geez, like I didn't know this was a mode. I'll go on to that now. One of the big new features coming in Battlefield 5 is Grand Operations, an upgraded version of the Operations multiplayer mode introduced in Battlefield 1. However, it appears players won't be able to participate in this multiplayer experience until after the game releases. EA shared more details about Grand Operations in a new post on the official Battlefield 5 website. Most notably, the post reveals the first Grand Operations will be available shortly after launch, which seems weird that it's like it was in Battlefield 1, but then it's not going to be straight away.
They're fucking with it.
Maybe they're fucking with it. But I didn't know what it was, the mode. Do you know what it is? I'll give you a little summary of it, because it sounds fucking awesome. EA says Grand Operations are designed to seamlessly showcase the maps and modes of Battlefield 5. Each one lasts roughly an hour and takes place across 3 in-game days, beginning with an insertion. In the Norway operation, that will take the form of the new airborne mode, which has one team parachute onto a map to destroy a group of artillery cannons while the other defends against their attacks. So it's an hour-long mode with day and night cycles. And you're like pushing up to the objective, you're doing all different game modes on the way while the other team's like trying to stop you. That sounds so cool.
That sounds
like an
awesome.
hour, and like, maybe we'll try to storm this when it's nighttime because visibility is low and we'll like snipe them. Like that sounds awesome. I didn't know that was a thing.
Do you try to pick up Battlefield 1?
Do I want to go Battlefield 1? Hi Alex again. Maybe not because I don't want to spend that much on it. But
I'll tell you how much is it. I bet it's like $15.
But the mode sounds very, very cool. So to have like that mode on top of regular multiplayer, on top of Battle Royale, all in the one game, I might end up getting Battlefield this year instead of COD.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But that mode just to me just sounds dope. Like I'm all in on that mode.
It does sound absolutely fantastic. I'll give them that.
Now, I put in this last one for you because of your love of Harvest Moon.
Yay!
Japanese developer Yasuhiro Wada is best known as the creator of Harvest Moon, though he hasn't been involved with the series for some time.
Has he gone off to work on Story of Seasons with Marvelous?
Wada is now working on the upcoming Little Dragons Cafe, a feel-good game about running a cafe and raising a dragon. While it shares lighthearted atmosphere of a Harvest Moon game, Little Dragon Cafe isn't the simulation game you might expect from Wada. GameSpot recently talked to Wada about Little Dragons Cafe, how his passions have evolved and why he makes the kind of games he's known for. He also showed off just under an hour of the game, which at least visually is reminiscent of Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life for Games.
Beautiful.
Quote, this is just a quote I really wanted to read you, because to me, I'm like, I need this kind of game just to kind of break everything up. Quote, Wonderful Life, which was the Harvest Moon game, is similar to Little Dragons Cafe in the sense that it's very comfortable. It's a feel-good environment and universe to be in. But he also emphasised that unlike other Harvest Moon games, Little Dragons Cafe is very much story-driven rather than an open-ended sim.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I'm just cool with a game that is just a pleasure to play. It's good atmosphere, happy mood. There's no, the world's going to end, or, you're on like the aliens are coming to kill everyone. It's just, let's have a cafe and let's hatch a dragon. Yeah. And let's just have a good time.
So that's why I'm replaying Stardew Valley right now as well, just because it's fun, it's lighthearted, and it's farming games right up my alley. Like it's my big heart on, but like it's chill. The worst thing I have to think about is that, oh no, did I not water my plants? That's all right. Everything will just grow a day later.
But Stardew had those moments with when it's approaching 2 a.m. and you're still in the mines. You're like, how the fuck am I gonna get back? Let's track your time. yeah, I'm excited just for a feel good session, just to chill out.
Very cool.
I don't know when that's due out, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it has any sort of release date at this point, but I want it.
Hopefully on the Switch.
Hope so.
Top selling games for the week ending 22nd of July 2018, starting at number 10, almost out of the list now. Detroit Become Human. Number 9, Jurassic World Evolution. Number 8, PlayStation Hits, Uncharted 4. It's got the new
for those who don't know, PlayStation Hits is a new subcategory. So what they've done is it's kind of like the old Platinum runs or whatever they were called.
I think weren't they still called PS Hits?
I think they were called PS Classics. I thought PS Hits.
Yeah, maybe.
The whole idea was these are like must-have games on your PS4
at a permanent
$25.
So yeah, number 9, Jurassic World Evolution. Number 8, PlayStation Hits Uncharted 4. Number 7, Far Cry 5. Number 6, GTA 5. Number 5, Sonic Mania. Number 4, Wolfenstein 2. Number 3, PlayStation Hits The Last of Us. Number 2, God of War. And number 1, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Big sale this week.
Big sale. So yeah, it's good. Even though The Last of Us and Uncharted are normally in there, they're probably going to be
Last of Us comes in and out.
Yeah, but they're probably going to be in there a bit more now with these PlayStation Hits. It'd be a good way to keep track of the PlayStation Hits, actually.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
So I made a point to label them as the PlayStation Hits version. Just just see things popping in and out.
Yeah, so with Far Cry, can you make back down there for me, please?
Oh, yeah.
So Far Cry 5, Assassin's Creed, and GTA 5 all on sale this week.
And
as Wolfenstein 2. Sonic Mania being the only new title because they've Sonic Mania Plus. Everything else is nothing new.
That's it for the news, Ryan. As we have a chat to the players about us.
About the Q's and the A's. So we haven't done this in a while. Normally, well, not normally, we've only done this once. So we're stuck for topics. We're in that quiet time of the year. There's not much is going on. And this time last year, we pumped out a Q&A video. We talked about what we want to see. Not Sonic, a Spyro remastered or a Crash Team Racing remastered. A video did gangbusters, by the way. SEO like a champ.
Nice. What are you doing?
On that one. So we reached out to the community for their questions, and we did get a nice little handful. So we're going to pick through those.
I wish I got to pre-read some of these.
What was that?
I just don't know what to expect.
I didn't pre-read any of these.
Oh, bullshit.
No, I actually didn't. I honestly did not.
You're a fucking liar.
The only ones I know of are the couple that were commented
on Facebook.
These ones I have no idea. So we're all coming in fresh.
Let's go.
First one comes from our good friend Chris Conway. He says one question and one I just want you to take on it. I want your take on it. The return of No Man's Sky, now with all the things missing from launch, will it make a comeback or is it too little too late? We'll go with that first. I think it's perfect. I think it's fine. As in, like, it's a perfect time for them to come back. 2 years is enough time to get away from that controversy. And because there's been smaller updates in between, having them come out now and be like, look, well, it's all free. Here it is. Go pick the game up. It's like $8 now, $20 now at most places. You're not going to be spending a lot of money. You know.
I don't think it's going to get anyone new into it. I think it'll get the people that bought it initially maybe returning to check it out. But I don't think it's going to be like, they're not going to see a big sales boom because of it. I think they will. I think because there's some good press going on it right now. You know, which is questionable as always because press is the thing that threw them out in the first place. I think we will see some nice improvements from it. I think a lot of people will come back and give it that second go. Now there will be some people that'll be so butthurt and so burnt on it that they will never go back. That's okay.
And that's fine.
That's their right. They weren't given the product they were promised at launch. And if you need the interesting thing with precedence, this is cool, and what you've done is great, but you can't really be forgiven wholly either. Yeah, because of all the obvious lies that were told before the game came out. I think they can, as the old core song says, you can be forgiven, but not forgotten. So we will forgive your actions, but we won't forget what you've done. Yeah. Yeah, no, but if someone's like, I'm never touching that game again, I don't care what they do, that's cool. That's totally up to you.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
But no, I stand by saying I don't think they'll see a very big sales boom from it. There'll obviously be an increase.
I think the second-hand market will. How
many copies did you buy the other day?
Well, I picked up 4 for work. We had to buy them online. We had to buy them through EB store, online store, because I went to the local store and I spoke with the manager, who's a friend of ours, friend of the show. I said, "Hey man, I'm after No Man's Sky." It's like, "Yeah, we got nothing." It's like, "We had 50 about 2 weeks ago." I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, everyone's the right idea, and everyone's like, there's a new update coming. Maybe you should check it out."
Maybe I should update it and give it a go.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Crap, that's exactly my plan." I think it'd be worth checking out.
Yeah,
and then maybe we can report back next week.
if you can get it from under $20, try.
I think under $20 is a worthwhile expenditure. And free updates, so it makes it even better again. So you have to buy it and then buy a season pass or something, which is great. And Chris also adds number 2, Star Wars: The Clone Wars is coming back, and I just want your thoughts on it. Never watched it. I've been meaning to. Actually, I've watched a lot. I've watched the first 3 episodes a handful of times. It just, for some reason, it never grabbed me.
It does have a very, very large following.
Yeah. And for me, I got really stoked about it when they were like, and Darth Maul's back with robo legs. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, as if he wasn't spooky enough.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But I'm also not the biggest Star Wars fan. I enjoy the movies. I see them when they come out, but that's about the extent of me and Star Wars. So I'm not kind of going out of my way for as much lore as I can get. But I know it has a very big following. I don't understand, like he said it's returning, but I thought they kind of had it so, like, when it finished, it pretty much led into the next actual movie.
It led in. I think it led into what would become Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
So I think there's like because I didn't watch the Comic-Con panel or anything. I almost consumed no Comic-Con information.
A lot of good trailers out of Comic-Con though. So many good-looking movies coming.
Yeah, we'll finish up on that, and then we'll jump into some trailer chat for funsies. Yeah, so like I don't know what the actual official announcement of it is. I'm not too sure, but I'd like to see how they bring it back. But yeah, in terms of trailers, I'll send them in the Discord next time. No worries, Jess.
Yeah, so we got the Aquaman trailer.
Yes, which looks like a CG fest.
Yeah, it looks cool. But yeah, it just looks... Just obviously, how are you going to do it otherwise?
Yeah,
that's the caveat. Which
the exact same thought I had. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, this is so much CG, and then my brain's gone, oh wait, it's underwater.
But we also got the Shazam trailer, which looks dope, and it is pretty obvious that DC are going for a more lighthearted tone now. Yeah, which I think will work. Obviously, people are like, well, they're copying Marvel now because they're trying to be funny, but get fucked.
It works.
Shazam just looks...
See, if people are doing that on the internet, then like they're the people that won't be pleased no matter what. They're like, it's too dark. Why isn't it like Marvel? Like, okay, here's one that's more like Marvel. It's too much like Marvel.
Why don't you do your own thing?
Well, you guys fucking suck. The internet...
I wasn't sold on Zachary Levi as Shazam, but I am now.
Yeah.
I had in my head Channing Tatum. I don't know why, but we talked about it a while ago now. Because I thought, I'm like, there's no one else that can do this because he has that boyish kind of charm that Shazam has. But nah, the trailer killed it. It was very funny.
But yeah, no, Zachary Levi does bring this really cool, like, childish mindset.
Blood immunity. You're dead.
Yeah, like, it's really cool. Like, he brings in that inner child, so it's really, really good. And I like that they're going kind of the route of the New 52 Shazam storyline, which was really good. So I'd be really keen if they dive into that further. We see Mark Strong as the villain, but there's not really much information about who he is. I think in that trailer we see probably the first half hour at best.
Yeah. The new Godzilla trailer was dope.
I haven't seen the first movie, so I haven't watched it. No.
It was too long, the first movie.
Yeah.
But it was solid. It was a good movie. But there was a lot of fluff. Like, it goes for like 2.5 hours. Yeah, probably could have been an hour 45.
It caught my interest when they said Bryan Cranston was in it, and the Godzilla opens some creature's mouth and just fucking burns flame down it. I was like, that's a pretty good sign.
In the cinema, I saw that in the cinema, and that was an actual moment where, like, everyone in the cinema was like, whoa! Like, fuck! Audibly. Like, because he didn't know he could do it at that point of the movie, and then he just grabs his fucking, like, after this half an hour long huge battle, and he's just like, I've had fucking enough of you, just and he's got like blue lightning going up his body and stuff, and the whole cinema was like, holy shit. No, it was very, very cool. But this trailer shows a lot of original villains like Mothra and stuff like that.
Wasn't there like a couple of other creatures in the first one? Spoilers.
No,
because doesn't he fight other creatures?
No, he's like 3 of the same creature, like the mother, like okay. the mother, and I think two of her spawn or something like that. Okay, but the second trailer has I think 4 of like the classic villains.
Well, because I know with King Kong Skull Island, they were looking at doing the big monster universe.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a big tie into that, by the looks.
Yeah, I don't know. King Kong might show up at the end or something. I don't know. But watch the trailer because there's a lot of wow moments in it. It looks very
I'll check it out.
And it is worth. I think it is worth watching the movie even now. It is a good movie. And the one I found last night, just the last trailer, is Alita Battle Angel.
Mm-hmm.
That looks so good, man.
Is the one linked in the chat?
The one I linked in our
Yeah, I
Facebook
haven't watched it
chat.
yet.
Really?
No, I'm sure.
Fuck, it looks so good. Like it's James Cameron's latest, and the director of Sin City. I forget his name. Yeah, him.
Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. He's director. Highly recommend watching that too. That's it.
Yeah, King Ghidorah, Gamera, Mothra, and there was another one, says Jess. All right. Next question comes from some random bloke. What is the game you are the worst at, and why is Ryan's answer Siphon Filter? Why is my answer Siphon Filter? Have I talked about being bad at Siphon Filter?
I think you have.
I love that game.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're good at it.
Oh, so last time I played Siphon Filter I would have been like 10.
Mm.
And we have them. So when do we have them on the shelf here? No, we don't. So when Dylan goes, "Hey, I'm clearing out my storage shed. Do you want a giant box of all PS1 games, mate?" Yes. So we pulled it apart. There's a ton of killer games in there, and obviously, and then being Siphon Filter 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So I did put it back in the PS2. Man, that game is janky as balls.
Of course it is.
Like I remember it being such a legit boss, like espionage, spy move, a game with like. Although I remember being nuts.
Yeah.
It's not as nuts as I remember. I still remember being able to taser someone until they fucking burn alive. Big fan of that.
The game I'm worst at.
I'm worse. I'm pretty horrendous at most games.
Racing
to
games.
be honest. I suck at racing.
I can't do racing games. And one, because I don't drive a manual in real life. I can't. I don't know how. So most racing games are you driving manual transmission. So I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know the cues to like gear shift and to shift down and stuff. I can't do it. I enjoy how they look because it still blows me away today how good some of these games look, but I can't play them in any competitive sense because I just can't wrap my head around how manual transmission works. It's like it's all on the audible cues. You can kind of hear when you need to change gears. I'm like, okay, I'll do it now.
Declare.
I'm like, this sounds cool. Am I doing it right? No. Yeah, racing games, any racing, like proper racing sim, not like Mario Kart and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, your Forza and your Gran Turismo and all that.
I'm pretty garbage at almost any competitive game. Like, I'm not really good at being competitive.
You don't give any competitive game enough time, though, to
I
actually
said,
develop
that's
any
true.
skills.
I don't invest enough time in something to like learn the little nuances and get better at it. Like fighting games are the one I'm by far the worst at. I just don't have the speed to like get those juggles going. Like I can't master the combos.
Yeah.
Like it's like Injustice or anything. He's just getting them up in the air and kind of.
Well, like Injustice, I was trying to get good, and I practiced a lot of the flash combos and stuff. Like, and I could pull them off like that against a bot standing still. And then as soon as I went online and they weren't standing still, I couldn't do anything because I don't know how to like get to the point where I can do the combo. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like I said, like I can beat the computer as Eddie in Tekken, no questions asked.
But you don't button mash.
No, again, those combos I learned from just years. Like, could I do them now? No.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, they're not. I couldn't tell what they are. I might be able to get some of them, but even then, like, if I was versing you, you would beat the shit out of me in a second.
Oh, I don't know.
I've got Tekken on the PS4.
Dylan was actually when we got Tekken 7. We were
yeah,
playing.
Dylan stomped me.
Yeah, but I think I beat Dylan. Did I? I don't remember.
Not sure. But yeah, fighting games are by far something I'm worse at. Siphon Filter, I'm probably not very good at Siphon Filter either, but I haven't played that in so long I couldn't remember that.
That's the thing with single player games, you can always just drop the difficulty though. That's or nowadays true. You can.
Yeah, which I'm a big fan of.
Back then.
Damo comes in with a question that's a bit more specific to PopC. What inspired you to get into light pop culture journalism? Hey, fuck you. What inspired you to get into enthusiast press? Sort of what we do.
He wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. I mean, You're like, hey, let's go do this radio show. No, it's not really my thing. Dude, you should come to this radio show with me. It'd be
we
sick.
talking enough smack at work here. So let's do it and record it.
And I'm like, okay, we'll do the radio, and then we do that for a year, and then you're like,
Close
hey, let's take it to video. I'm like, I like radio. No, we should do like YouTube. Fuck, all right, fine. And here we are.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm not lying. I had no interest in any of this ever.
Still don't.
I'd still go back to the radio if I could. Nothing against YouTube. I did very much enjoy the radio.
It was fun. So what got me into this is I've always wanted to do sort of something like this, but I never really had the means to. And then after doing my old podcast and working in a different radio station,
yeah, you definitely made it alive.
I made it live. Yeah, sweet. That's right. I don't mind. It's unlisted, so no one. You only get it if you're on notifications.
Okay. Ring the bell.
You ring the bell for next time I make a mistake. But no, after doing my previous podcast, which was very much just a open discussion, 4 dudes,
as you'd expect, teenage boys.
It was fucking crude. Yeah. It was so crude, and I thought I could fucking monetize that thing. I was an idiot. So once I shifted into like radio and whatnot, and I moved to Geelong, where I had the opportunity to make a show here at 94.7 The Pulse, I thought...
Unfortunately for me, I was probably your first friend down in Geelong at work, at least.
Very possibly. But no, like, so it was more of a conversation. Like, I was a big fan of Good Game. I listened to a lot of podcasts, a lot of IGN stuff. And I'm like, I think I would something I'd want to jump out and give a red hot go at. And then, thankfully I met you, and you had quite also an enthusiast interest in games and playing them, and we love talking smack. And I wanted to talk smack in a more structured sense. So we dived into the radio, gave that a red hot go, and I thoroughly enjoyed the radio. It was a lot of fun. I love YouTube as well. Like I said, after that almost 80 something episodes, we did 60. I think it's like, I'll say 70. So like the 70 episodes that we did on radio, I had a lot of fun.
You should release episode 1 to the Patreon people.
Well, of the radio. Yeah, I can do that if you want that.
Just to see.
Hey, Patreon people, do you want that?
See how far we've come.
I think it was that we talked about Sailor Batman.
Huh?
That was about Sailor Moon and Batman doing crossover. 1? I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the whole interest came from I wanted to talk about games. I've loved games for 1,000 years, and
that's a lie.
Yeah, no, I'm not that old. But I don't know, like, in terms of the exact reason why I wanted to make the crossover to try and join the games media, I don't know. We live in a time where you can just say, like, I think I might do that, and then I did it.
We live in a society.
Yeah. And now we just keep doing it because we do.
As much as it wears us down sometimes.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I never expected it to be as time-consuming and as exhausting as it is, as expensive as it is, but I do. The expenses are pretty much gone now, though.
Yeah, it's the initial investment.
Yeah, the initial investment's what's massive.
And then a little bit of evolution, like we've changed our mics.
Yeah, like I've not actually bought anything in quite a while. The last thing I bought was a TV, which I use almost every day because all editing is done in here now.
The TV wasn't a necessity. It was a quality of life.
That was a quality of life thing, as in like everything to make this a functional machine. Like all the expenditure's done.
Yeah. Oh. Table.
Except for the table, which, thanks to those beautiful Patreon people, we will be doing.
One day we will. One day.
It's only because neither you or I have the skills to build said table.
I might soon.
Oh, with your.
If you want lights in it or something.
Yeah.
Or you want it to have like refrigeration.
Yeah, you've got a refrigerated table. Unnecessary, but I can do it.
You love it during summer.
I do love it during. So that my inspiration just came from other enthusiast press, I guess, is really the big example. And I just think, and the whole idea was at the radio station, they were like, we're looking for more youth-focused shows as well. And they mentioned video games and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, well, I can fucking do that. I can fill that void. And I jumped in and I filled that void. Sean,
we filled that void.
Thank
you very much.
Yes. Oh yeah, because that's the big thing. It started off as you and I, then we joined another website, thinking that they were the bee's knees. That didn't go so well because it turns out they are garbage.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we can do better than this. So we separated from them, and we have done better than them.
It's kind of fun just to look at how kind of casual this is now. Remember when we used to have to put in effort? As in, like, okay, we're going to be on. We need to make sure we're switched on. You know, we sit up straight, and we need to, you know, how are we doing the segments? And
yeah,
now let's just.
It is fun how it's become second nature, as it's kind of we're just in it, and you're on it, and you're doing it.
Do it. How often do I have to address the camera? How often do I look at you?
Yeah.
I don't know what I do with my hands, and now let's just do
it. It is interesting though. I did go back and watch some of our first shows, and like it's really weird. I think we're better now, but I also think those shows were better than I thought they were.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I thought they were going to be garbage. I went back and I watched them, and the sections are punchy. The conversation is solid. Like
presentation
has gotten better over time, and that's certainly true with the studio and the quality and all that sort of stuff. But that groundwork was there. Like that 2 years in radio, that really worked in our advantage. Like that really strengthened everything. So when we did make that jump over here, you know, it does make
the lab reports.
For those who don't know, when we originally started, because I wasn't confident, because we only just started, I wasn't confident that we could push this brand just with our faces. We needed something else. We needed a shtick. So by having the name of the Popculturists, the idea the shtick would be the science route. So we would
the atom.
Hence the atom. We would wear lab coats. We would like our news articles. We record lab reports. Any dissection. Any discussion was a dissection. Any fan theory or any deep dive, you know, just art like editorial Abed sort of opinion piece was a hypothesis, and like that worked initially for a while.
I think it would have continued to work if we actually did science things.
Yes.
Like, how does the physics work in this
Which that
game?
was the full intention.
Which was the intention, but then I realised I don't know any of that.
Yeah, and it came down to the time-consuming nature of bringing one of those pieces together. I think if we did do those deep dives and be like the science of...
We had the science behind
something. And then we did break. Like I remember, I did like draft up a couple, but it just wasn't tight. Yeah. And like then watching like someone like Because Science, like you know, like game theory and shit. I'm like, I got nothing on these guys. Yeah. And it worked. It got us through some doors. Like you know, as in no one else. When we speak to PR people, they know this name. Because nothing else has this. Like, there's no name like it in Australian games press. A lot of it's like, you know, variants of games like
Aussie Gamer,
like Aussie Gamer or Press Start, or you know, like no offense to Press Start, but I mean like they're very game heavy names.
Yeah. Where
we come from a different, like our name comes from a different place, so it kind of works to our advantage.
But the initial, obviously, we thought would be quite heavily involved in movies as well.
Yeah, we thought the original plan was to, because we had more staff at that point too. We were going to do
volunteers.
We're still technically staff. The original plan was movies, TV, games, comics. And then we stripped it back down to movies and TVs because movies and games, sorry, because Dylan's balls deep in movies, you and I are balls deep in games, and we all had an interest in movies as well. With Dylan sort of not stepping away to sort of reevaluate his life. He does have something in the works, which speaking of
don't hype it up.
No. Speaking of where where we're going, the conversations that we've had with people the last week could help. You know how like each there's that in that different step in what we're doing. Like we've met with people that really like what we do, so it could work in our favor in the future. But he stepped away to work on something that he's spent a very long time on, and I hope it pays out. And you and I have just sort of stuck to it, and kept doing this and doing streams, that sort of stuff as well.
I need to somehow follow Dylan's example of not being so jaded. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But as for the rest of it, I'm like, I could take it or leave it. You know, like press passes to EV Expo and all that. I'm like, if I go, I go. If I don't, I don't. No, whatever.
Yeah.
I like doing this.
Yes.
This was like my baby in a way.
Yeah.
Like the pitching and the music and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, as long as this is taken care of.
Yeah. And those things help supplement this and make this better.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I know I get the interactions. I know how it all works and all that. But if I can just sit here once a week and talk about PlayStation, I'm a happy boy.
Yeah, so what I'm hoping is to, like, my goal for this, in terms of like where we started and now where we're going. My goal, as I've always mentioned, is making this the #1 PlayStation podcast made in Australia, which it already is. But like, I want to make that.
We don't have definitive the stamp of it. We don't have the stamp of the people to say
exactly.
Yes, it is.
I want to do more with it. I want it to be I want to be the tent pole. I said I want to be the ones. Although we're both very busy with our jobs and whatnot, like I want us to be the ones getting the invites to go to things. I want to be the ones that,
Things in Melbourne or Geelong, not fucking Sydney.
Yeah.
As much as it's appreciated, the invites, but if we get told the day before something is in Sydney, and we've got like a behind the scenes thing, what do you expect us to do?
Yeah. So my plan is to get us to that point, and then with Dylan's little idea as well, I want that to be the best it can be, and then hopefully we'll do some more things from bouncing off those. But that's what drives me forward now. What drove me back then was just to see whether we could do it, and then we realized we could do it, and we can do it quite well, and we can make connections, and like it baffles me how easy it is to deal with PR people. Like when you're external to it, it seems like wow.
Well, it's like my buddy that I work with most days of the week, we got a code for, what have you been, because our usual chat is, what have you been doing, what have you been playing?
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing this, a few days early because we got a code. So really? Like, UB hooked us up with the code. It's like, that's fucking sick. I'm like, that's all right.
We're jaded now.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny how that works.
Yeah. Not that it's not appreciated, but I think, you go back 4 years ago and then be like, you got connections at UB and Sony and, Bethesda and all that. And it's like, whoa. But it wasn't really that hard. Like, they're very nice people. They're just people.
Yeah.
And if you show them something good, they're happy to help you out.
Yeah, so if you're willing to put the effort in and put the work in and show them that work, and it's
it seems very intimidating on the outside, like dealing with PR people, but they're just people, and some of them we have a good relationship with, not just
like
for
personally,
games, like personally and stuff. Yes, that's cool.
No, it's real cool, and that's my drive moving forward. To sort of go a bit further into that questions. Sean asks, how many controllers have you guys destroyed over the many years of gaming due to rage quits, etc.?
6.
Since
PS. Well, I've had a lot of consoles.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember the first time I threw a PS1 controller. I think it was Croc. Was it Croc? It was it was an old platformer. Because they were corded, I could pull the pull the PlayStation out of the TV cabinet, wipe the memory card because it landed on the memory card. Had my Final Fantasy 7, 8 completed saves and stuff on it. So it was a little while before I threw another controller after that because I kind of learned my lesson. But when they became wireless, oh boy. 6. One as recently as 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I don't know the stories for the rest of them because it's usually such a blind rage that you don't quite remember it until a little while after. But yeah, I know I've broken 6 various controllers through many different consoles, which isn't good. That's about $450.
Fuck.
When you look at it that way.
Yeah. As far as I could, I've not broken any PS4 controllers. I don't think I've broken any PS3 controllers. I say that, but in my memory, I had to buy a new PS3 controller because the fucking trigger popped out.
Like I said, blind rage.
Yeah. So I've blocked because for me the memory of it is the triggers. Like I remember it's broken.
They can wear out over
time.
But
I remember them literally
springs,
popping the fuck out,
okay.
and I don't remember how I caused them to pop out. I remember I had a clear PS2 controller, or maybe the PS1 controller because I had the sticks. And I remember it just fucking breaking one day, and none of the buttons at the back stayed in, which means I've probably pivoted it.
I oiled up Alex's Xbox controller the other day, actually.
Oiled it up.
The right trigger was squeaky.
Yeah.
So I looked at a YouTube video, and you just get some cooking oil on an earbud and just put it on the spring underneath the trigger.
Yeah.
And it stopped it. Like WD-40 for the controller.
Oh, nice. I thought you were going to oil it up as you made it all sheeny, and he's like, play Fortnite now, you bastard.
And we broke another controller.
Yeah, worth it. Keeps trying to pick it up and just not winning.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not broken as many controllers. Like I've broken. I remember breaking my Actually, no, I didn't break it. My friend did. Was my drum kit for Guitar Hero World Tour. They were made pretty shitty anyway. My buddy was super drunk and fell into it. So I had to duct tape that cymbal back on. And then because it was broken, it would never register properly. So I fucking wailed it one day out of rage, made it worse. So I'm trying to having to like MacGyver repair that bad boy. Yeah. I think I've broken a couple of Guitar Hero guitars.
But it's better to break a controller than someone's face.
Yeah, I've never broken a screen or anything. I've never gone like, see if there's people like whip the controller and it's like shatters, because that would destroy
See that one
me.
from FIFA? He like pegged his controller at the ground, but it bounced up and he just TV. FIFA causes a lot of rage just from like.
It does. Like a lot of the rage videos comes from FIFA.
Yeah.
Paul jumps in and says, I squeezed my PS3 so tight in anger that my triggers exploded out the top. I've never played Mod Nation Races ever again.
Of all games to get you to that level.
Yeah,
of
there
rage.
has been times like
I still do that actually. I was playing Rocket League last night. And it's like you've got that briefest flash in your head, like I'm going to snap this fucking thing in half.
Yeah.
But then you got to.
It's the Valkyrie.
But games don't make people angry.
The Valkyrie, the final, like the Queen Valkyrie in God of War nearly got me there.
Really?
Nearly got me.
I one-shot it.
Yeah, it took me like not.
It's funny.
One shot.
Because then you one-shot the one in Muspelheim, and I
up.
had a lot of trouble with it. It's weird how it works. What's my question?
Your question, Josh, is can I get a pay raise, please? Can we all get pay raises? Would be
We
rad.
all get paid to start with.
Yeah. Thank you, Patreon. Please do more. Good times. But yeah, Paul James, speaking of Paul James, comes in and goes, that's one big long question. What's the genre you'd most like to see PlayStation invest more in going forward? For me, and I consider it strange that all the people it's me saying this, it's the FPS. And specifically, I'd like to see Resistance return. I'm a little over the clashing armies of the sci-fi setting, but the invading alien species like in the Resistance is right up my alley.
Well, this is also another thing I heard on the Sacred Symbols podcast. Speculation, because Guerrilla have expanded so much, and Herman Holst saying wants to get a game out every 2 or 3 years, does kind of hint at maybe they're having another team working on another Killzone title. Which I'd be fucking stoked with. I loved Killzone very, very much. I remember playing Killzone 3 multiplayer on PS3. That was one of the pinnacle multiplayer experiences of my life, FPS. And to get a new Horizon game every 2 or 3 years, I think is not good. And I don't think they'll do that. But even though Killzone Shadowfall wasn't hugely well received, it was a good game. And I don't think there's any reason for them not to continue with that franchise. So if not Resistance, I think in the next couple of years we will get Killzone, which will be obviously your Sony-owned FPS series.
See, like as much as I would love to see I've never played Resistance.
Me either. I'd love a trilogy remaster.
Yeah, give me a remaster. Play the shit. No
shit
questions
out of it,
asked. I would like to see Killzone. I didn't play Shadowfall. I loved Killzone 1 and Killzone 2. I'm pretty sure one of our Patreon. Maybe even one of our Patreon viewers, Damien, he lent them to me back in the day when we were in high school, and I fucking loved Killzone.
Yeah. Very cool world.
Very
UAC versus the Helghast and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Helghast had this very just
really
intimidating
just very,
vibe.
Because you don't get that in a lot of shooters. Like you're playing Call of Duty or whatever, and you're just shooting people, and it's like or you're shooting aliens in other games. But the Helghast had they were humanoid, but they so weren't humanoid either. They're very imposing. I think very good enemy. But for me, anyway, RPGs.
So I was just thinking, like, maybe I can go buy some Killzone.
I think I'm going to go check. I'm going to swing past DB on the way home. Yeah. I'll text you if they have a few copies. Because the new, it's $25, which is okay. But pre-owned, they have it listed for $9.
Yeah, I'm down for $9.
I'm down for $9.
Well, I have to go shopping anyway, so I might go, because Millie's got to go out and go do some afternoon tea with her friends. Nice. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go shopping. But yeah,
play multiplayer together.
Ooh, I like that.
I would like to see. I don't think they will, but turn-based RPGs. It's just my jam. I love it. Persona, loved. Octopath, I love. A lot of people give turn-based RPGs shit these days because it's boring. That's just on the game developers not making it interesting. Persona 5, I think, had very satisfying turn-based combat. You could combo a lot of different ways, and you had to think same with Octopath. Which we will do a video soon. I think we were going to do it today, but I think I'm pretty close to finishing it. So I want to see if I can tick it off.
Even if you swing by midweek and just record a video.
I gotta do it on Tuesday actually.
Okay.
Maybe. But they just put different spins on turn-based combat. Old Final Fantasy turn-based combat, boring as fuck.
Yeah.
By today's standards, Octopath has a lot of different things. You got to think ahead of your turns because it shows you what's happening next turn. You can plan ahead, combo different things. A JRPG, because I don't know what first-party studios does Sony have based in Japan?
What's Sony Japan?
Sony Japan. Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see them invest in a new studio to just focus on this kind of stuff. But to the Western market, there isn't a huge appeal either, except for Persona 5.
The appeal's getting bigger, but I don't think it's like they'll invest tons of money into it.
So yeah, otherwise I agree with Paul. I think a good first-party FPS title with good multiplayer, I wouldn't say no to.
Because that's the thing, you sort of think about what's currently available to the PlayStation first parties. We've got let's just go.
A lot of third-person games.
A lot of third-person action adventure, which is fine because that's their bread and butter, and they're fucking good at it.
Order's third-person. All Naughty Dog stuff is third-person. Horizon's third-person.
Yep.
Spider-Man is third-person. Very different genres of games.
Yes,
but they all are pretty much.
They're all third-person adventures. Yeah. So like that. Although last year, I think it was last year, saw us get like Ratchet and Clank.
God of War as well, sorry.
Yeah, so Ratchet and Clank being a 3D platformer. Platformers aren't something they really dive into a lot anymore. They used to, obviously, with like Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot and all those sort of things, but they don't really... Spyro. Like, there's no first-party platformer. I think platformers aren't... I think the reason they've doubled down on the third-party action-adventure is simply... because they're good at it and people want. I think probably the best way to play games, especially story games, and I think that's why they've really focused on them. They've obviously got Gran Turismo in terms of their racing genre.
I wouldn't say no to a PlayStation exclusive Destiny, Division, Anthem kind of thing.
Like a open worldy sort of
one of
thing.
your MMO light kind of games developed by PlayStation. Whether they set that in a current universe or they make a new one, I think because I, as much as they get shit, I enjoy games as a service. I like the model. I like how I can kind of, spend money on this game and that'll get me sorted for as long as I want to be in it for. So I wouldn't mind an MMO light either, however they'd want to do it.
So there's also no, because if you think of genres, like there's no, like they've got some sports games in terms of like everybody's golf and that sort of stuff. Like
MLB.
MLB is obviously the biggest one because they're the only guys that make it. I don't know. I think the answer has to be first-person shooter, but I kind of don't want it to be my answer because everybody else's answer. Apparently, it's yours.
But it's the logical answer as well. Paul says in the chat, the FPS is the one big thing Xbox has over PlayStation in terms of competition between the first parties.
That's 100% true. Xbox have really doubled down on their first-person shooters, obviously with Halo being their big staple franchise. They do have Gears as well, but it's a shooter, but it's not. It is third person, and they've also come to as so far on the Xbox One they've dived into a lot of those MMOE light things like multiplayer, very multiplayer heavy games. In the same vein of
they had Titanfall, but they lost it as well.
Yeah, they had Titanfall, and I'm talking like your Sea of Thieves, like what looks like Crackdown's going to be, what State of Decay is, like that shared world MMO multiplayer game.
Just message my boy, see how he's doing.
That's all right. So I think the answer has to be first-person shooter because that's probably the next piece. Like I don't see them doing any MOBAs because they kind of tried. They tried to do sort of the hero shooters with like those free-to-play, like Drawn to Death.
Drawn to Death. That was good.
And those like those.
I liked Drawn to Death. I thought that was fun.
A couple of those. I forgot the other one was, but I kind of don't want it to be Killzone or Resistance. I would like to see something new. What that is,
I think at this point, Resistance would be new.
Yeah, I think
it's at the point where you could pretty much, you could do whatever you want. You could essentially make it a new franchise with the same label.
Yes. What was, if I remember right, about what I know, what the minimal that I know about about Resistance is that like the Chimera, who's the enemy in that, like you never see them. Like by the end of the game, like because they infect a bunch of humans. So even by the end of the third game, you're still yet to see the Chimera.
I think they left it kind of open ended.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think having them come back would work in that fashion. That would be pretty cool, and it would be enough to sort of please older fans and maybe bring in some new.
I'd be happy for them to do the exposition at the start of the game for the first 3. Here's a 3-minute wrap up. Because there'll be a lot of new people coming to it if they do that.
Yeah, and that's the toughest thing for me would be like, I want them to make something new, but the first-person shooter market is so oversaturated that I think it would be near impossible to really...
Well, Cyberpunk is apparently first-person.
Yeah, so I think it would be near impossible to really have something that's groundbreaking and coming through strong.
Maybe not groundbreaking, but you can certainly polish what you've already got.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm talking about a new franchise. And if they're working on an old franchise, they very likely could have something cool.
Paul says Resistance is ripe for a reboot, which I agree.
That's true.
So is Killzone to a point. I mean, Shadowfall came out in, 2014? 2013?
Was it, sorry?
Shadowfall came out in, 2013, 2014?
Yeah.
It was a launch title.
So it's 2014, I think. Sorry, and there were other questions I'm just finding.
So it's been long enough. Either. I'd be happy with either.
But
this Killzone itch is not going away.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, it is funny how you get this little itch for a game that kind of.
And I'll probably play it for like an hour and go,
Yeah, that's $9. It's not worth it. Not even worth trading in when it's $9.
I did originally though. 2013 it was launched.
2013. Thank you, Paul.
So it's been 5 years since we got a Killzone.
Max Cooper has asked the question. He goes, "Will Josh ever play the Dark Souls board game with me?" Sad face.
Oh, one day, maybe. I mean, I need a bit more notice than the night of. The other day, it's like, "Do you want to come over and play games in like an hour?" Like, yeah, I've got my boy, and it's like 7 o'clock. I still want to play it. I do.
Yeah,
we were discussing we need just
we do need a hangout sesh.
Not necessarily a big community event night, but let's just hang out.
Yeah, like one thing we like to do here is behind the scenes stuff. So as that we like to have a bit of every couple of months, every 6 months or so, have like a big hangout with just the staff. So it's you, me, Dylan, Jess, Dave, Joel if he didn't live in Sydney.
Yeah.
We just come, we sit down, we normally have a big taco feast and we just hang out and we just bullshit.
Normally, but we've done it once. So.
No, we've had a couple of hangouts.
Taco feast is one.
Taco feast was just one of them though.
That was a good one.
Nothing the time before was big Chinese feast.
I'm Craig the intern.
Oh, and Craig the intern, of course, yeah. And it's a good way for us to sort of just hang out outside of a PopC related conversation, and it's good to just to hang out and remember that we're all friends before we started working together.
Yeah,
that's the thing. When you
Joel
heads up,
we'll just set up the laptop with Joel at the end of the table.
That's the thing. For those of you that ever have considered setting up a business with your friends, remember that you do need to have breaks of it and then to remember that you are friends, because you can get caught up in the minutia of the business.
You always see like friends, make this company together, and then one of them dicks the other one over. And it's like, how could you do that? But when you're in it, you're like, oh, you can see from a work perspective.
Like when I watch Social Network now, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Everyone's like, he's a dick. I'm like, no, he's fine.
It's a normal human.
Yeah, it's I thought about it. And Damo, this is the buddy that let me Killzone, has asked one final questions. What would you say your top must-play game is? Well, I actually got 2 questions.
What, like ever?
Ever. Like if someone asks you, goes, hey, I want to get into gaming, what would I play? So obviously we're looking PS4, I guess.
As cliche.
Or even if it is, what is your number one game of all time?
My number one game of all time is Final Fantasy VIII. But as cliche as it is, if someone's like, I want to get into games, I'd be like The Last of Us or the Uncharted trilogy.
Yeah.
It's just a...
Oh, that 100% works. So like my stepfather, my mum had been pushing him, I've told the story before, pushing him to get into games because he has a very stressful work job and he would come home and the stress would never leave him, sort of thing. And my mum's like, you need something. He's
got to kill some people sometimes.
You need to do something. So she was like, what if I was to buy Davey, who's my stepfather, if I was to buy him a PS4, what should I get him? I'm like, get him the Uncharted series. And he did, and he loved it. And he's credited probably more games than I have this year. Like he is on a roll.
Bigger
now.
Games than you ever have, like The Witcher and stuff.
Yeah, so since then, he fell in love with the Uncharted franchise, and then he went into The Witcher. I'm like, that's gonna be a dense game, man. Get ready. No consent.
I suppose compared to the stress he'd go through at work, it's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, then he did Assassin's Creed Origins originally. He's done Shadow of the Tomb Raider. He's done Last of Us. He's done Assassin's Creed, a fuck ton of games. So when I caught up with him yesterday, I'm like, so what are you playing now? He's like, I picked up Tom Clancy's Wildlands.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what? It's a big multiplayer game. You hate multiplayer. He's like, yeah, but it's fun. Like, he enjoys the big open world and just doing whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. And then he just kind of tells all his AI friends to fuck off, or leaves them in a car and then just runs it and just legs it away from them.
Yeah, but I think.
So I think the Uncharted
trilogy
is a good step.
Is probably more accessible than The Last of Us, because Last of Us can be quite difficult at times. But those games, the whole point is like this story gets you hooked and makes you want to play the game more.
Yeah, it's a big pulp adventure, so it is over the top, it is fun, but there is incredible character development behind it, and it's enough to engage someone like a movie, but with simple and
like,
fun.
well, you want to see
gameplay.
where the story goes? You got to play through this section of the game, and you'll get the next cutscene.
Yeah,
that's how it all works.
But my game of all time, is still like it. As I said, like it sounds dumb because it was this year, but my number one game of all time is 2018's God of War. Like, no game has ever made me cry and be so emotionally invested as this game.
But you look at it, but the only reason that is because of the other games. So
yes, and that phrase, like like on that list is Uncharted as well. Uncharted 4 being one of my favorite games of all time because of that build up, because it had three incredible games building up to it, and like, granted, God of War, this one, the 2018 one, wouldn't have affected me as hard if I wasn't a father myself.
Yeah.
And like, so I think there are certain times, certain events that come in that help make that my favorite game. Like, I think my old, I call that my number one big game, but like, I still have such a love, as I say almost all the time, for Harvest Moon Back to Nature. Like, that's the game I play consistently, continuously. Like, I've played that game since I was like 9 years old.
I've said it before, but like, Final Fantasy VIII for me was it was the first game of its type I played. Dad gave it to me. I'm like, why is there 4 discs? Because I've been playing like Croc and Spyro up until then. I'm like, I think I was maybe 9 or 10. It was the first big JRPG RPG period that I ever really played. So to be like, I finished like the opening area, which now would take me half an hour. It took me maybe 6 hours. And when I finished that, I'm like, that was a good game. And then it's like,
insert this too.
Here's the rest of the world. And I was like, too young to quite understand the story, because it was a very adult story with very adult themes and stuff like that. But yeah, I just remember that moment of the world opening up, me just going, what the fuck? As much as a 9-year-old can say that. It's just kind of mind-melting. Paul says in the chat, Josh is so close to game greatest of all time. Final Fantasy IX is the one. But yeah, Uncharted is the one to introduce people to games. Final Fantasy IX is good. I probably enjoy replaying it more than I do number 8. But number 8 just has that special...
There's a connection,
just that
emotional
special
connection there.
Nostalgic, emotional connection to that game.
Like, it's funny, like, because my memory is so appalling. I can't really remember.
Hey, any games in the chat. Hey, Joel.
Hey, Joel. I can't remember, like, a bunch of it. I just can't. Like, as what game on PS3? I'm like,
what games were on PS3? Crash 1?
Yeah. My memory is just so bad. Drug use in your early 20s, don't do it.
Chroming.
Well,
oh, yeah, maybe.
I was from Trelk. Shit. Yeah, it's because if we're looking at this current generation, I think it has to be that. It has to be Uncharted.
Well, Uncharted 4. Uncharted is more last generation, bro.
Yes, but as in what's playable.
I mean, it got wrapped up. Oh, you mean to introduce people to games? Oh, yeah, it has to be Uncharted. But what if they get an Xbox?
Then, like, take it back.
Halo Collection?
And the final question, which is also from Demo as well, says, what game do you wish existed that didn't? Or possibly the inverse. Yeah. So what's a game that you wish existed but didn't? But doesn't currently? It's pretty easy. It's not a PlayStation. But it is a full-blown, massive multiplayer online Pokemon game.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
Or an MMO Harry Potter game. Like, they're my two.
We're getting something like that from Chucklefish.
Yeah, something
not
similar.
MMO.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Harry
that,
Potter lights kind of style.
Because like that's the things that everyone's wanted for 1,000 years, and we're still yet to see.
We'll never get it. The Pokemon one.
Yeah,
we're never gonna get it. If they could have done it, they would have done it by now.
Well, I disagree.
I'm not saying that they can't do it, but I don't think they want to do it.
I disagree.
Harry Potter in the style of Bully.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the Pokemon, like, I disagree with you or something. Like, if they could have, they would have already. I strongly disagree, simply because Nintendo's hardware has always limited them from doing that. Like, you know, being predominantly a 3DS, which is there, you know, an underpowered game compared to. So
I don't think the Switch could do it either.
I think the Switch has a higher chance of doing it, but I also don't think. Like, I don't think.
What
it's
happens
sufficient.
when you go to a city on the Switch with 50 other people in there, and all their Pokemon are out, and I just don't. It can barely handle Fortnite when I land near 4 other people.
Exactly. The problem with it is that it is incredibly reliant on networking and internet, which Nintendo seem to forget exists.
And having amazing servers.
Yeah.
Which Nintendo also don't.
So like those things, I don't. That's why the Harry Potter MMO would be
made by.
Ooh. Made by Dada.
Made by you. Sorry, made by all our dads.
Quiet.
If you didn't hear it, James just screamed out Dada.
That dead quiet. He's like, Dada. So I guess I have to make it.
Would you want the Harry Potter one nice and gritty? Would you like it kind of lighthearted and fun?
I think lighthearted and fun with some darkness.
It'll start
in there.
lighthearted and fun like the movies did, but then just get real fucked up towards more expansions. Because you look at like Harry Potter 1 to the end of the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and it is just such a dark and sad and oppressive movie compared to, you know, the fun and whimsy nature of the first.
I think it would say something that you would build up upon. Like, it has to have that darkness in there. Now, I also don't want it to be littered with like fucking microtransaction like that phone
about
game.
Like the final raid? Like, is it Voldemort?
Yeah, it would have to be
the final
and that's
raid
the
boss?
end game. Yeah.
So every like 15 seconds, he Avada Kedavra as a random raid member, so it's like a DPS check to get him down in time.
Oh, I like that.
But when he Avada Kedavras, your character's deleted.
Oh, that's harsh.
Because it's death. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. No, you get stuck in his wand, and then there's like a mini game to fight his wand.
Joel says Horcrux raid battles.
Yeah.
To destroy the Horcrux, it's a raid boss for each tier. But then what about after Voldemort's dead? Because this is the issue World of Warcraft had, is they kind of blew their load with all their main heroes that they built up through Warcraft 1 through 3, like with Arthas and Illidan and all that kind of stuff. And now they kind of gotten to the point where they're needing to make new characters, and it's like, well, why is this more powerful than like the Lich King was back then? And it's like, you know,
that's
what I mean?
the problem with big ongoing franchises.
You got to keep going bigger and stronger. You know,
it's the same problem with Supernatural, the TV show right now.
This one can take out a whole continent. Well, this one can take out this
Two
side of the
continents.
planet. Well, this one can take out the world. Well, this one can take out your galaxy. You know,
it's the same thing with comics.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, same thing as Dragon Ball Z. Same thing as comics. Like, they all just have that same build up, and it gets to a point where you can't go
Jesse
further.
says Harry Potter by Blizzard. They could do it.
Yeah,
they easily have the text.
They would have the power.
They don't have the storytelling chops though. Their storytelling.
There is such an.
They do such good characters and stories outside of the fucking game. Like, the comics are good, the lore books you read are good, the mini videos they make for characters are very, very good, but in game they do such a poor job of telling stories. You're like, I don't know why the fuck I'm here, I don't know who you are, I don't know why I'm doing
and
this.
that is the big reason what dropped me out of WoW the first time. I couldn't engage with it. And that's why I like DCUO, because the gameplay is pretty shit, but the story was what was there, because it's characters I know, characters that I care about. So I went back to play DCO like last week.
But unless you play Warcraft 1, 2 and 3,
you
that's where you don't get that connection to, you know, the World of Warcraft.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the answer is Harry Potter.
Paul says Portkey Games is a studio overseeing a core console Harry Potter game. Watch this space. Portkey makes sense because it's like the
Harry Potter thing.
The Harry Potter thing.
I remember that.
What did it say? Daganelli. What the fuck did you say that for?
Daganelli.
Yeah, like, you've said it 100 times to this point. She's like, say it clearly.
How many times we've done this? What? 60 something times, and we still like, and this is fun. It happens. It happens.
Keys
Well,
owned by
yeah,
Warner Brothers.
yeah, it's owned by. So as it's a Warner Brothers property, it has to be by Warner Brothers games. Kind of a given. But anyway, that is all the Q's and A's. Hope you've enjoyed the A's to all your Q's.
I enjoy good A's.
As then we'll put some P's in your V's. Maybe some J on your T's.
Maybe some peas
That's
in
my
your
favorite line
Peas in
from
your
like
peas.
I don't know what fucking movie's that. I think it's from like one of the Seth Rogen films.
Yeah.
And it's like, go J on some T's. I'm like, oh, gross.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, gross. But anyway,
Apparently, he's like the public transport ambassador for Canada or something now.
sweet. Anyways, we'll jump into the drop where we'll finish up. We tell you what games are coming this week in a section that we've just renamed Coming to the Players, which is just, as I said, just straight up reading the drop. And then we'll finish this a bad boy up. We've gone long today.
We have new PlayStation games for the 31st of July 2018. 1979 Revolution Black Friday PS4 Digital. 8 to Glory, the official game of the PBR.
What? The drink?
PS4
The
Digital.
beer?
What's PBR? Pab's Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
8 to Glory Bull Riding, the official game of the something bull riding, gives you the full experience of being a professional bull rider. Say bull rider.
Professional bull rider?
Show your skills as one of the world's top bull riders against the toughest bulls in the sport today.
I'm not playing that.
Anamorphine PS4 Digital, Castaway Paradise PS4 Digital, Chasm PS4 PS Vita Digital. This one I'm actually excited for. This to me is probably going to be the next big indie darling.
Okay.
I'll read this a little bit. Welcome to Chasm, an action-adventure game in which you play a new recruit, undertaking your first mission, embark upon an epic adventure with deadly battles, cunning monsters, exploration, procedurally generated dungeon. It sounds pretty generic in the blurb, but it's been in the works for about 6 years now. And yeah, just watching game, it's like your side-scrolling Metroidvania. It has a real Castlevania kind of feel to it.
Okay.
I think it's going to be that next... like Stardew came out and it was like the indie darling of the year. I think this might be it.
Like Celeste was earlier this year.
Yeah, so watch this. Watch the space for that. Plus, it's got cross-buy with PS4 and Vita, so that's always good too. Maximum Football 2018, PS4 Digital.
Looks like shit in that picture.
Pixel Ripped 1989, PSVR Digital.
Haven't we all been Pixel
Road to Valhalla, PS4 Digital. Every week there's a game with a spin on Valhalla for some reason. State of Anarchy, Master of Mayhem, PS4 Digital. Tao Hao Sky Arena, Matsuri Climax, PS4 Digital. The Wardrobe, PS4 Digital. That's it.
I've been
bull riding sounds interesting. I mean, I got to admit, I'm not ruling it out.
The picture alone shows no gameplay, so
No. And he's obviously, if you look closely, you can see his hairline under the fake afro he's wearing. You can see the strap from the afro. Can you see
it's
it?
supposed to be a cowboy hat, you fuck.
Oh, maybe it is. It looks like an afro though. It's poor angle.
Yeah, they've really cropped out all the defining features of a cowboy hat, so it looks like a big old afro.
But yeah, watch for Chasm. I think it's out. It's out on Tuesday. I'll probably pick it up.
I did almost pick up Hello Neighbor.
It's free on tablets, like iPad.
Yeah, but I can't stream it.
Alex is playing.
No idea of me to stream it.
Well, you can.
Because there was a game
People
that
do stream
because Jess did mention that she wanted you to come and stream a game. So I forget what it was.
That's
but
nice.
Yeah, because Jess was like, you should play that with Josh. I'm like, well, fuck, was that going to happen?
Can I play from home?
Yeah. So, yeah, I need like weeks notice here. Weeks of notice. There's nothing there that catch my interest. But yeah, Hello Neighbor, I watched the trailer and I was like, fuck, hot damn.
Yeah, Alex has been playing it on his iPad. It's cool. That PlayStation conversation happened on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and 8 a.m. on iTunes and other podcast services. If you'd like to be a part of future conversations, please join us on Facebook, join us on Discord, comment below. If you're feeling generous, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/popculturists. Head over there, check out the tiers. There might be something there that interests y'all.
And if you are a Patreon supporter, like a lot of people watching us right now, you can also watch us record For the Players live. You get a nice little email with us with a special little link that's just for you. And of course, if you want to show your love, PopCulturists on your body, head to popculturists.com/shop where you can buy shirts like this, like that, and a bunch of other sorted garbage with our logos on it. And finally, we are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturists. We can like, subscribe, and do all the things. Oh, and one thing we should always mention that no one ever does, because I forget to say it, we do want to become that #1 PlayStation podcast made in Australia. By doing so, we do need you to go to iTunes and give us those 5-star reviews and put some of the reviews and make nice things. Because without that, we don't go up in the ranks, and we get outseen by other probably better shows.
That's the point of the ranking system.
Look, if anything, the ranking system's working perfectly.
We need you to fuck it over.
We need you to break the ranking system to get us into more eyes. So until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And that was For the Players.